So we're going to jump right into it with our first guest of today. He is an amazing, amazing, amazing stunt performer. He does movies, television, he's a great actor, and he just recently moved to Las Vegas to show everyone what he is made of. Everybody, please welcome Ziya.
You guys.
Hi, welcome so much.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, please sit, please sit. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
I had recently scouted you off of Instagram, so I'm so glad because I was looking through all of your stuff and I was like, oh my god, he's so impressive. Like, your reel is amazing. Check IMDb. So let's start from the beginning about you.
Yes.
So you are not a native to America. So tell us a little bit about your beginnings and how this kind of came to be.
Yeah, so I started acting in stunts in Azerbaijan, my native country. And originally, growing up, I always had a lot of interest in martial arts. So that was the number one leading reason for me to pursue industry in performing arts. Coming from a country where martial art is very much promoted, as a man, you have to grow up as a warrior. So you choose your route to be training certain way and being around people that are really pushing you towards that industry and that lifestyle, which was the martial arts for me, that led me to be interested in watching, some of the classics like Jackie Chan, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and that really sparked the interest on me trying to attend being in the film. Through my father's connections, I was able to do some of the live shows for TV and productions in Azerbaijan, later in Russia. One of my first movies was a Dershsky Dni, about a parkour movie, and that really I fell in love with the process. But the film industry is a whole lot different as far as the stunts in Azerbaijan, or specifically in Russia than it will be here. And after moving to the United States at the age of 18, I continuously try to pursue the career. Started in Texas, where I started booking small roles and commercials, and then make a name for myself, and then found couple of opportunities out in LA and flying there and back and forth, and then sooner or later I found out it was a better way not to live in LA but still be able to work in both LA and Las Vegas. Made a move out here to this beautiful town, which I'm really looking forward to probably living for the rest of my life, because there's a lot of opportunities, not just in film and industry, but it's such a cool town, the mountains and the hiking and the trails, you know.
There's so much to do, and it's very accessible. It's not like you have to go 2 hours away, it's all there. And things are growing here, especially with film. And I know a lot of action films are very prevalent right now, so I know that there's a lot of opportunity probably for you. So in your home country, was film and going into this business, I know you said martial arts is, but is that very accepted in society? Yeah,
very much so. I feel like it's something that's promoted so much, and it might be a little bit different now as we move over to, the new age ideas of action films or film industry. But growing up, the way I saw it was I started from a live performance on things like this, TV shows. On my first martial arts was Sambo. And then I found more flashy styles. I always wanted to do Kung Fu, but we didn't have anything. So any gym you would go, they would say, oh, sure, I'm going to teach you Kung Fu, which is what you've been watching, and you will learn Sambo. And it was kind of, because that's all they knew, Sambo, Judo, which was like a lot of takedowns and striking martial arts. But then I found Capoeira, Brazilian martial arts dance. Then I started practicing Capoeira, which led to for me to acquire a lot more acrobatic skills and different levels of movement, which translated well into screen than just having specific Sambo Judo takedowns, which is still prevalent. If you see John Wick, a lot of Sambo Judo is being applied to that film. But I feel like I still love the original, we call it unrealistic way of fighting, but it's for the camera. It's such a different level of training, different level of work, it's you're always open. You're almost open for action. You never really do that in a fight,
Right. Yeah.
So, some of the fighters that I work with had a hard time adjusting into stunts because it's like, well, how you want me to do? Really, just come on, open up. This is not the way I would ever hit somebody. It's just all about the showcase and the education that you receive to have that translate well into camera and for the audience to find something more interesting.
Yeah, because I actually train in stunts and tactical stuff as well. So you realize that it's one choreography. So if you're good with like remembering things, obviously a lot of dancers, and I'm pretty sure martial arts, you kind of especially if it's not a real fight. Like you're literally getting into a fight. But it's all you have to be aware of where the camera is and make sure that's what you're focusing on most of the time. Instead of your other partner, you just have to hope that you trust each other enough
100%.
that you know so you're not actually going to hurt someone.
Yes.
But so you're just doing some outlandish things. So on TV, it looks great. It looks really real. But in real life, you're like doing it about 20 times. And you're like, literally, like, what? And it just seems so like animated.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I think that once you get in the industry and you have to go to the choreographer, you have to go through the pre-production and talking and making sure that everybody's comfortable with the scenes. Some of the greatest coordinators I'm extremely grateful to have an opportunity to work with. They've kept us safe on set and make sure we don't really hurt ourselves or hurt the actors. But every once in a while, we've had some unfortunate things happen. I would say with the amount of safety is being promoted and pushed in the United States, as far as like the stunts goes, and we do still get once in a while accidents happening on set, we're in pretty good shape comparing to like what I'm used to is, you made a great point earlier, you make sure you don't hit the other guy. Well, I'm kind of used to really getting the hits. I'm kind of used to giving a little body shots, I'm not used to all the angle changes, the realistic. Have you seen Ong Bak by Tony Jaa? And it was filmed a couple of years back, but a lot of stunt guys actually did a full contact on the set. Not something that I'm encouraging, but that mindset has translated into me trying to apply the best I can, as long as my peer stunt coordinator and stunt guy is comfortable with that. Then I'll be not to hit each other, of course, but
out of nowhere, and they're like, "Yo, this is not part of the plan. You didn't tell me."
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and of course, like. I've been on sets where action movies, they take forever because you're at 16-hour days because one little, like, 5-second fight scene, they take, like, 10 hours on. Because they have different angles, they swap out. Sometimes the main actor would do some of it, and then they don't, they let up to, like, the stunt double. One, for obviously, so they don't get hurt insurance purposes. And two, because sometimes the actors, they'll have a limited amount without having to like actually get injured just from trying and practicing. So I know you mostly do stunts, but when did acting come into it? Did you always want to do both, or did it come later?
Yeah, so my background was in actions and fighting and stunts.
Right.
But I took acting classes. I studied method acting. And this was something that I always wanted to do, but didn't really, at the time, didn't really have the look always to play the lead character all the time. But look at me, right? And 9 out of 10 times I'll be killing guys. I'll be blowing places up. But I'm the kind of guy that, listen, I'd rather be typecast than no cast. So I've always gone, it's the mindset, the hustle towards the available work. So, I've spent time hustling the coordinators on set and open sets pre-COVID, shaking hands to make sure that I get the work the next 2-3 weeks. And building up the relationships that later on was like, more of a phone call. Hey, Z, are you available? Send me your sizes again. Nothing has changed. Same 170, But I feel like acting was something that I was trained. I was classically trained and wanted to be an actor. Then had opportunities thrown at me to audition. Thank you, Beth Sapko she took a big chance on me on American Crime to book me on one of my first speaking roles back in Texas. I really fell in love with the process to kind of compare the process of having the phone calls and training the complete workout until you're tired. Now the 5th, 6th take, it's not the same original thing you're gonna do. You're a little slower, you're a little careful. You just want the scene to be over with. Versus having the audition process. Oh yeah, you booked it and waiting for the fitting and the callbacks and you're on set, which was honestly more of a luxury for someone like me. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna fall down. I love it. I love the process, and I want to continue to doing it. And then, building on my reel, like you said, and having to get my agent submit me for more available roles for people like me. And, with the help of more diversity being pushed around Hollywood, I was able to book a lot more acting roles and speaking parts.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. And because I know what I like about you is we have this in common, is that you make sure to work on the crafts before you went out there and then decided that you were going to do it? Because then the foundation that you have being classically trained as an actor is going to carry regardless. Because now you're like, I'm ready. So what if I get that audition, I don't have to be like, oh my God, like I can do this, but they might just only cast me as some person because I didn't feel as confident in acting, right? And so you moved here already having those and learning the grit and the hustle of how to get work and why it's important to you. And a lot of people lack that. I'm sure you've come across many people who just kind of just started yesterday and they got lucky and then they just keep getting lucky and you're like, oh, why did I have to suffer, right? But you're like, no, it's good because now you're like, the process, I'm ready, I can take on those roles and feel that it's going to be a great performance, right?
100%, 100%, because you said a very powerful word, grit. Grit will win against talent, and that luck that you describe and a guy that had, due to his looks, possible connections, whatever the case might be. I don't want to get blacklisted from Hollywood,
right?
But you know, I feel like the grit that you have, that you're willing to put in the work. Oh, okay, you know, I've had 6 auditions this week, I haven't booked one, and then 2 months later you booked one big role that turned into a feature film that you're going to be working for the next 6 months, you know, and it's going to pay off as long as you stay on top, just like everything else. It's to stay on top of it, and I understand how hard it is, and so many actors get in the idea of consistency with this industry, which is such a false path to follow. Meantime, when you're breaking, meantime you are waiting, you should be training. You should be building up connections, attending the events. You know, maybe change your headshots. Maybe look what's lacking. You know, hey, if you're not booking at all, maybe change your demo reel. If you don't have the opportunity to book, be in front of a camera where you have the specific act you want to present. If you don't have that in your reel, find your buddies. Get the cameras rolling and do the scenes and hope that it works for you. But if it looks good, get some second opinion, third opinion. There's some great people who are, like, I get a lot of messages on Instagram from people that send me reels and YouTube links that I'm like, yeah, this was great, man, but I'm going to be honest with you, it would be great if you do it this way. It'd be more natural, it'd be more interesting, because acting is not always the real you. It's more like salt and pepper added to it. Nobody's going to watch a guy who's just eating. People want to see a guy who's eating, you know, is interesting, putting down, you know, everything is a little bit overacting into it to improve your character, improve your image for the scenes, and just hope for the best.
Yeah, I like you. This is amazing, because I understand. I tell people all the time, when you're not out working, you're still working. And people ask, how often do you work? I'm like, I don't not work. Because if I'm at home, I'll find something. Do I have to revamp my website, add a new picture? Do I have to make sure everything's crisp and clean? What's going on? Like, just doing something, planning something, you know what I mean?
100%.
So, fantastic. So that's why I connect with you on so many ways.
Certainly.
So I want to talk about this. I saw there's a video of you. You're sitting around a campfire with another person, and you are talking about how you're so influenced by Spartans. Now, I'll talk about that because I've seen a lot. You did a part of your reel. You have a fight scene where you are kind of, it reminds me of Troy. If you've seen that movie, Brad Pitt and Orlando Bloom. Amazing movie.
Thank you.
And so you have that vibe, but like I want to talk about your influence from Spartans and why that is.
Yeah, I like I said, I was always into understanding the warrior way of life. And I grew up reading Marcus Aurelius, Stoicism, and I've been, the region that I'm from really pushed the warrior mentality, and Spartans were a big inspiration for me. A lot of times the conversations that I've had with friends was an ability to exist in a very uncomfortable lifestyle, uncomfortable place with full of uncertainties, and yet be able to find some benefits out of that, to not shy away from that discomfort, to be ready to go after what you want, which is a lot more easier in this day and age. The society we live in now, things are a lot more easier. If you think about, most of us live life, the kings that always wanted to live. So these opportunities are there for us available now that wasn't before. It can only get better if you're willing to really just push forward, have the warrior mentality, warrior mindset, and don't shy away from it. That was the scene you're talking about was a survivalist film, survivalist podcast with a friend of mine. I practice survival just to re-immerse myself with a lot more, not that I don't have enough discomfort in my life, I certainly do, but I like to really approach it from an extreme point of stand, which is very unconventional, but it helps me to completely restart my mindset, to know what I don't have, and when I have, how grateful I really am. They're seeing it. Yeah, I like to channel that energy. I feel like we are the same people we used to be thousands of years ago. The same arms, the same legs, and we are the same warriors. We just don't have the same kind of purpose to fight.
Right.
But believe me, if I was living in that time, if you gave me a sword, I would be ready to go war.
Yeah, I've seen it. You can, and you would do very, very well with that. And so I feel like I know you say that you get typecast a lot, but I feel like what would be so amazing, and I'm so jealous of this, that you would be great in those types of period films. You have Troy, you have all of those those types of period war films like way back in the day. If you talk about like King Arthur, like you're doing those types of movies because you have that look. Yeah. But they can easily just you got the beard, it's great. You can just take your shirt off and you got a little put some tattoos on and it's great. Like I know that one movie, I think it is King Arthur. They had like Keira Knightley and all it was a great movie, war epic. Like war epics, I feel like you'd be really great, and even sci-fi with Lord of the Rings. I feel like you have that, and I really hope that I could see you in those because I think that would be amazing. Not many people can fit into that world and make it look realistic without being offensive to that time period.
Absolutely, right?
Because a lot of people they just put them in. And you look like what it could have been,
right?
But is that really what they look like with that grit? Like you're saying, you've been through that survival. You put yourself in positions where you can think of the mindset. Well, you're a method actor, so this is probably why you love this. So you can put yourself in the mindset of what it's like to be and fight and be out in nature and just deal with what you have. That's your life. And so I really hope that happens for you. I'm going to manifest it for you. And I want to be here. Yeah. And I'll be cheering you on, yay! It would be amazing.
Looking forward to that.
So is there a film or a project that's coming out now, recently?
Yeah, actually, so I've been putting a lot of dots together here in Las Vegas right now with some of my connections from out of town, some of that are in town, and I've been blessed to be around some of these powerhouses that are willing to bring a lot more work into town, attending certain events and being around these people to see the spark, the interest. We've had several new films happening in town. Mel Gibson was in the studio recently.
I'm going to say, were you on that one? I hope so. Yeah, no, not yet.
What? But
I don't fit in that one, so I didn't. Yeah, but
great movie. But there's so much that's achievable through the opportunities that Las Vegas and local cast and crew that can bring into the table. As always, there's you were asking. I'm really looking forward to being a part of this very recent booking that I've had. I can't 100% talk about it yet, but it's touching on. It's a comedy. So it is my first controversial comedy film that I am looking forward to being a part of because I can only imagine the publicity behind. Because when we went through the script, so this conversation is kind of probably going to be like if people are watching from Las Vegas during the cold read, they probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm on an NDA right now. But these are the things, some things that hasn't been done before. To approach this opportunity with 100% power, with good talent, good funding, and the help of some of the entrepreneurs that are coming in to the picture, we can make these things happen moving forward. Right now, everything is in the pre-production stage. If the studio deal happens, then we're going to be filming in a studio. If that doesn't happen, we're going to do it in a more traditional way. But more traditional way, they have to go through a specific, I believe it's Sony, and there's a lot of processing to getting everything together, and then eventually finalizing the cast. The casting is pretty much finalized with the pre-production and getting everything started. Meanwhile, I cannot just wait on having the final word, even though the dotted lines are signed. So
everything can change in pre-production stage, 100%. And then even if post-production things can change too. You hope that it comes out. Pre and post is the worst. It's the worst. It's like you want to say that you have something, but you don't want to say it too fast because then people are like, "Whatever happened?" Then you got to be like,
"Oh, it didn't go well."
And then it's like one after another, and you're like, "It's not under my control." But I have hopes that's great, and I agree with you. I really hope that Las Vegas. I mean, we're slowly starting to see it move, and I think you moved recently. How long ago?
4 years ago.
Oh, 4 years. So we moved at a great time when it was right before the pandemic, and then right after that, all these things started flooding in. And it was a great time for people in film and actors, people who are serious, to take advantage of it to really showcase what's in this city. Because I think a lot of people overlook Vegas. They think it's like, we might as well just go to LA. Like, we rely on there's great talent there, but they don't believe that there's great talent here when there is. 100%. I mean, you gotta look a little deeper.
Oh,
right?
I guess
I don't want to get blacklisted either, but you gotta look.
100%. Yes,
so you have to look for it. But we're here. Hi. So that's absolutely amazing. I fully support you, and I definitely want you back in here when things start coming. If you ever have like premieres and you want people to go there support you, I'd love to see and keep in contact with you, and please keep in contact with the studio. Like you're an amazing person. I love your mindset of thinking. It's great. So please tell everyone where they can find you, your IMDb, all that stuff, your Instagram. Like that.
I'm on IMDb at my first and last name Ziya Farajzada, and on Instagram ZIYAFJ official. It's the only social media that I have is Instagram. Okay. The only one I've ever had.
Keep it simple.
So it's just that simple, easy to manage, and I update a lot of things that are in there, a lot of the up and coming projects or up and coming things that I really like to promote. So I look forward to seeing this town blemish and get a lot more incentives and have all this wonderful talent, take advantage of it and grow into what Atlanta is now, New Mexico is now,
Arizona
is
slowly getting there.
Incentives, good incentives. Utah, can you believe that?
I know. I don't know how much I fit in those ministries, but exactly. Yeah. But so are you non-exclusive? Because I want to make sure if you're reachable to freelance for filmmakers, because I know we have a lot of them that come in here, or I don't know, a lot of people are tied to an agent. But you do freelance. So I do.
I do freelance. Of course, I'm always after the opportunities. I have my agent out of Texas. I don't have an LA agent anymore. Okay. Things have changed post-pandemic, but I'm always, I'm always out there. I'm very much reachable and available through my contacts, through my email, through IMDb, or through Instagram. Like, reached out to me. I'm always,
that's fantastic. And I'm so glad you saw and responded to it. I did that at a gamble. I was like, we'll see.
No worries.
You get the hustle, the networking portion of it. But fantastic. I'm glad that you came here. You sat in the hot seat. You're an amazing person, amazing talent, and I know that this is just the beginning for you. Of course. And it's fantastic. So everyone, Ziya, a round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
And when we come back, we're going to go into another part of Las Vegas, and it's going to end up being more of the entrepreneur and nonprofit side. So make sure to stay tuned and don't